real talk, real talk, real talk, real talk.
Welcome to Real Talk for Real Teens, the show where we uniquely combine the information teens need with the entertainment teens want.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Real Talk for Real Teens. Today I have one of my very creative friends on the show, very funny girl, Zoe. Zoe, why don't you introduce yourself to the audience?
Hello, my name is Zoe. I'm a comedian, stage name Mr. Steal Your Wig. I have my own production company called Pit Bulls and Babies Entertainment, and I'm happy to be here with my friend Kim.
Well, welcome. I reached out to a lot. I met Zoe when we were both studying at Second City doing improv. So, Zoe, what skill will you be talking about today?
Critical thinking / problem solving.
All right, so explain what critical thinking / problem solving is for you. What does that mean to you?
My definition is, figuring out the right answer to, any situation, finding the root of, a problem, being able to figure out which steps to solve it.
All right. So how would you like to, why don't you tell me a little bit about why you chose this as the skill you wanted to talk about and how you developed your own skill?
Me, producing my own comedy shows, I do have to do, a lot of critical thinking / problem solving, especially when it comes to my fans or comedians. So what I usually do is, I figure out what steps to, solve it, and try to do a type of, my favorite thing is agree to disagree. So
give me an example. Well, first of all, again, so why did you think this was an important skill for you to discuss?
Because every day people go through problems. It's just like an everyday thing, and a lot of people don't know how to, especially in this generation, don't know how to handle it properly or correctly. And I don't think a lot of people teach positive ways to solve situations instead of a lot of people give up or, don't try to think about it anymore. So I think that problem solving / critical thinking is very important, especially when you're dealing with people every day.
So give me an example of a problem that you had to solve that you and that aha moment for you when you realized, oh wow, I didn't have the skills that I needed to make this situation better, or I realized that I did have the skills at that time and I was very excited about it.
Well, this happened recently with a friend of mine / business partner. We're doing something new, bringing a headliner to one of my shows, and this is my first time bringing a headliner, so I really wasn't sure the proper ways to go about it. And in the contract, I didn't put in specific details what I needed from her. So we were talking via text message, which is wrong when you're doing business. You should always pick up the phone and talk to the person. So we're going back and forth via text message, and in the end, I just told her, let me just do this by myself for the first time, and then I'll see how it goes, and then you can try next time. And the next day, I reached out to her, and we were text messaging, and she felt like I fired her, and, so I told her to call me, so we talked for about 30 minutes, And, you know, her main thing was that we're in this together, and, you know, when we don't agree on anything, like, let's talk about it, let's see how can we better this, and then basically that's what we did, and now everything is okay with us. It's just basically like communication wasn't there, and I was giving up, and she was, you know, she didn't want to give up, and she said I fired her, and at that time I didn't think I did, but then looking back at it, I did, because I just, you know, was like, I'm gonna do it myself.
Yeah, and that's a lot of the mentality of young people, and it has, and that's it's like, you know, I can do it myself, I can go it alone, and that's not new to this generation. It's, you know, that whole young thing about I can do everything, and also what's new to this generation is having complete conversations through text messaging or instant message, and there's so much that could be miscommunicated through
exactly.
Because you can't hear a person's inflection in their voice, you can't hear the tone in their voice, you can't if you're in front of someone, you can see their facial features, you can see their body language. And so I find that when I'm communicating through text messages, even with my friends, there have been times when the message just got so wrong, and it's like, wait a minute, how did we go off? Where did that go? And you're right with business. You and I, to get this set up, we did it through Facebook, but you and I know each other very well, and nothing I was asking you was something that was controversial or something you had to that might cause us to be on one side or the other. And when you find yourself in those situations, because I've been in that place where, you know, you're like, screw it, I can do it by myself, and that's not, you're right, that's not that problem-solving aspect. That's not that, because you can't do everything by yourself.
Exactly.
And think about had she not said, stayed in there and called you back or whatever the next day. What if she had just said, screw you? You know, you. and it's like,
yes,
you do
and that was my
yourself.
fear. Yes, because our friendship is more important than anything, but miscommunication can mess up a lot of things with anything. So I really do, you know, advise no text messaging, especially when it comes to something that's important as that, because I've seen people, you know, in friendships over, you know, text messages or anything social network, you know, and at the end of the day, that's not the right way to lose a friend over Twitter.
Exactly. So let me give you a scenario. So you're having this headliner person that you've never done a headliner before. So take us through the steps of how, outside of the communication issue that you had, take us through the steps of how you came up with the idea of headlining and that whole process and how that's working out, because that's the whole problem solving is a series of steps. It's not a one thing that people think, you know, I have this one problem I have to fix. Usually it's that one, you're dealing with one problem or one thing in a series of things that need to be taken care of, and whatever decision you make in that situation is going to affect the others. So take us through that whole process.
Well, the first thing when booking anybody as a headliner comedian is the budget and seeing how much can you afford and what venue will you have it at, how many seats will be there, how much will you sell it for, is the person that you're going to bring worth, you know, their budget. And I'm bringing Mr. Dick Gregory, who is very known and one of these number 80.
The real advocate, real Dick Gregory?
Yes, the real Dick Gregory, yes.
Okay. Yeah, you're going big with this one. Okay.
Yes, you might as well go hard or go home. So
exactly.
Finding the budget for that, speaking to his wife, and then, you know, speaking to him and saying that he's willing to do it, actually for a nonprofit, Notre Dame affordable housing and supportive services for veterans. He's actually a veteran, and he has 10 children. One of his daughters is a veteran as well. So he will be here October 9th, and I'm not having an issue, but just making sure that he has one request, and his request is that every seat is sold out at the Laugh Factory, which is 300 seats, which it's probably not going to be a problem. So this month alone, I have been all over Chicago passing out flyers, putting flyers in different Black-owned businesses, businesses in general, and a lot of people are very excited for him coming here. And, you know, I'm 27 years old, but reading about him and his books and just how I see people light up when I say he's coming here, like, he's definitely, you know, a legend. And I'm very excited to bring him here, you know, and thankful for my mother for helping me bring him here, you know, so...
Well, yeah, your mom was around when we were in class.
Yeah, that's my number one supporter right there. So yeah. she can make it happen. She makes it happen. That's my walking angel. So I'm happy to, you know, bring him here, and like I say, he'll be here in less than 30 days, and you know, it's him, and between God and my mother, Dick Gregory is coming here on the strength of Zoe Marshall. So that's really big, especially for me. You know, a lot of people are trying to figure out, like, who is this person? Like, why did you, all the people, she called it Dick Gregory.
Exactly.
You know, so.
Well, let me take our first break. Okay. And then I'm going to dive deeper into what you're saying. So give me a second.
Follow us on Facebook at Real Talk for Real Teens, and on Twitter at RTFRT Radio.
All right. So you were just talking about what you did. So let's start at the beginning. So what was the idea that said, hey, let's bring Dick Gregory here? What was that?
Well, I wanted, this will be my first year of producing my own comedy shows, and I've been successful so far, and I wanted this year to start bringing a headliner maybe every 2 months, bringing a headliner. So my first headliner, I was like, it has to be somebody big. It has to be somebody big. So I'm thinking, and last year I met Mr. Dick Gregory in Baltimore Comedy Factory. It was a surprise that he was going to be there. He opened up for Paul Mooney, and he was just hilarious. Yes, and he was hilarious. I got to take a picture with him, and I just was like, he was just so happy, and just Dick Gregory, I'm Dick Gregory, and it was just great to meet him. So when I was like, I need a headliner, I want to do something for a nonprofit, and I was reading about him, and then I was like, okay, he's a veteran, okay, how can I get in contact with him? And I found out how to get in contact with him. I spoke with his wife, and then he called me about 3 days later, and he was like, yes, he would love to do it, and his one request is every seat better be sold out. So, and he did it for, he did it for a great price. So I'm definitely blessed for that, because it is a nonprofit. And, I have a lot of friends that are from the Washington, D.C. area where he lives that are flying here just so they can sign. He has his autobiography, which is called, I don't know if I can say that name on here.
I don't have it. If he made, but I don't. Go ahead.
Okay, it's Nigger, which is, it's sold over 1 million copies. It's Nigger.
Oh yeah, my show has a mature rating. It's okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So, so a lot of people have asked me, do you think you'll be able to sign the book? And, so that's my best friend, which I'll make sure he will sign the book. But it's just a pleasure to having him, and I feel like, you know, he'll be 82 October 12th. So to have him 3 days before his birthday is exciting, and he hasn't did comedy since in Chicago, 1971. So, you know,
wow.
That's exciting for him to get on stage to do comedy, and he's still very, very funny.
And the reason I'm asking you to bring this to talk through the process, because what you're saying, and it goes back to what I was saying, one decision leads to another decision that impacts the next decision, and that's why I wanted to walk us through the process of some idea to inception. You know, now he's, again, like you said, less than 30 days out, and I wish like hell I could be there. That's a great show. But just the problem solving, the different things. Tell me some of the what am I trying to say? Some of the challenges you may have had that you had to critical think or problem solve around.
Well, basically, you know, the budget, because when you do anything, you putting together any type of event, the comedy, a party, a dinner, you would like to make a profit. You know, a lot of people, and that was my main thing, being able to get him here comfortable, being able to pay his fee and everything, and still being able to get the nonprofit you know, money as well, which I think, you know, I believe in God, so I do believe that everything will be fine October 9th. And it's at a very, you know, great place. The Laugh Factory is known, you know, so having him here, he's never been at the Laugh Factory, and they were very happy to have him there, and giving us all the proceeds except 20%, and that goes to the people that are doing the tickets. That's the only reason why we're not getting the 20%. We're getting 80%. So they're very happy just to have him on the stage. He's a legend. Like, you know, and a lot of people at our age or a little bit younger don't know about Dick Gregory, you know, and they should really teach, you know, in schools about Dick Gregory, because he you know, walked with Martin. He's seen a lot, you know. He's a vegetarian. And, yes, and he's even overcome cancer. You know, he didn't even do the chemo or any of that. So he still had, you know, he was 81, but he still has his mind, you know, and he knows. I mean, they asked him the other day on TMZ, what did they think about Beyonce? What did he think about Beyonce and Jay-Z going to Cuba? And his thing was, why don't you leave them folks alone? They're not bothering you. You know, that was, you know. So it's just, he's still good.
And why the hell are you asking me? Because they didn't bother
me.
Like
he was in the airport on his way to somewhere, and you're gonna stop him, ask him, and they asked him twice, and he was like, "Didn't you hear me the first time?" So he's a good guy.
Yeah, he is, and I'm very proud of you. Again, God, how long ago was that? That was 3 years ago.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. And I was very good. That was a great 2 weeks. Oh, we had 2 weeks together, right? So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We had a very intense 2 weeks together, that group.
Yes.
And just to see what's come out of that. So we're going to take my next little break, and then we'll come back, because then I want to get you to talk about your 3 tips. Anything you want to leave us with. So hold on just a moment.
New or unknown music artists, we need you for the show. If you'd like your own mini concert, please send a request for information to realtalkforrealteens@gmail.com.
All right, guys, we're here talking to Zoe. And your stage name is what now? Again, something.
Mr. Steal Your Wig.
Yeah, oh my God, I remember you on Facebook with those lace front. Oh my God, that's so funny.
And
thank God we've been saved from that fad. So give me your 3 tips for young people in developing their critical thinking / problem solving skills.
The number one is a very, very big thing, and that's patience. You have to have patience, positive communication, and being able to agree to disagree, because you're not going to always agree, but, you're not going to, end or I give up because you don't agree. You find other steps to go around it, and eventually everything will go back to positive. It's just all about patience, being positive. Positive is like the number one thing that I always tell people. If you're always negative, you're not gonna really succeed in life.
So talk more about you said patience. I know one was agree to disagree, and what was the second one?
Positive communication.
Okay. Tell me about patience, because that's one that a lot of people don't have a grasp on. They call this the microwave society. Everybody wants everything now. And you and I were talking before we went on the air about this path that we're taking as entrepreneurs. So tell people about that patience.
Yeah, patience is really big. Because, there's been plenty of times, like I'm also working on a documentary, and, I've sent it to a lot of places, and, I've got negative feedback, I've got positive feedback, I've got, feedback asking me, why am I doing this? And, sometimes I felt like giving up and just being like, I'm just going to go and get a regular job or something like that. And then, I would just pray, and I'm like, I'm funny. I know I do have that. That's one thing no one can ever take away from me. I have a very great business mind, and, everything doesn't come, in a year or 2 years or 3 years, and you keep going. I've been doing this since 2010. It's, about to be 2014, and I'm bringing Dick Gregory here, and then, I have other people I plan on bringing in 2014. A guy named William Spank Horton. That's Kevin Hart's best friend. He's on tour with him now. You guys will definitely know who he is. He's coming 2014. So it's just you have, stick with it. Another thing I always say, too, like a lot of people have like 4 or 5 things they're trying to juggle, like stick to one thing. Like my thing is comedy, and that's what I stick to. And some days it's not going to work. Some days it is going to work. And that's with anybody that's successful now. There's Donald Trump. He's been, bankrupt probably about 15 times. He's still a billionaire. Everything is not going to work when it's supposed to work. But that's when you learn from it and you keep on moving. So patience is like the number one thing with anything. There's no one that's out here right now that's successful, your favorite rapper, your favorite actor, anything that has not been pushed down plenty of times before they've made it to where they want to be.
And also, and that one reason I wanted to speak to that, because we watch, like you were speaking of TMZ, we watch Extra, we watch all these things, and we see the end result, and that's what we want. We never question all the work it took to get to the end result. Because I'm going to speak to the whole Miley Cyrus thing when she was on the VMAs. Everybody wants to sit back and talk about her twerking and how disrespectful that was and this, that, and the other. People, did you know she has an album coming out in October? So her album hasn't even hit, and her singles went to the top of the billboards right after that event. It's about business. She is appealing to the audience that is important to her. It's not for mom. It's not for dad. It's not for conservative radio or very liberal radio. It's not for you guys. It's not for that 12-year-old. It's not. She's not appealing, and she's very much breaking the mold from that 12-year-old when she did Hannah Montana. That's not who her audience is anymore.
Exactly. And they have to
and
remember she's young still.
so she's going to do things, and they're going to backfire, but I think this was gold, personally. Oh, my God, because everybody is still talking about this. I think, and she has, from what I hear, her manager is, oh, my God, is Brittany's old manager or somebody, whoever.
Yeah.
I think it's Brittany's, when she did something controversial on VMAs. So it's all planned. It's like we spend so much time analyzing that. But and I'm going to give you this. How many of us are willing to go that far for what we want? It doesn't have to be that extreme and what people would consider negative. But how much time do we put into it? Because Robin Thicke's wife was on Today's Show this morning, and she said she was so surprised that people started texting her, "Oh, you are in our prayers," and she's like, "What are y'all talking about?" They practiced this for 3 days. It wasn't like it was she just came out there and did it. All this whole process is planned. That was pure critical thinking problem solving at its best.
Exactly, and I think it was great. You know, some people that try to say it was racism. I don't get where the racism is, but that's just some black people that will forever be angry. But it's just like I just thought that it was nothing racist about it. And if you understand, she's still young. She's not. So I don't even think she hasn't even. I think she's like 20, 21, 22.
Yeah,
I don't know,
exactly. I think she's 20.
Yes. Yeah. So she can't even drink yet legally. So
exactly.
So this is not.
She can't legally. Let's put it there. She can't legally drink yet.
Yeah, she can't legally drink it. So what she did, when she turns, 27, 28, she will see. At the age 21, I used to be horrible. It was worse. I think.
But that's the thing. A lot of us forget what we were like before we were 25. We have this button that we reset on our 25th birthday, and forget about all the things that we did that just weren't. That I know I wasn't using critical thinking for. Oh, my God.
Exactly. So the whole think before you act thing, I didn't even think about that until after the fact. I think what she did was her being her age.
I thought it was brilliant.
And I thought that I give her the honorary Black Award. She cursed out her father on Twitter, and that's something I know I definitely would have did, and she came out twerking, trying to twerk, and it was good for me. And I think and like I said, she spoke about it. That's what she wanted to do. She made history. They're still talking about it now. They will talk about it before 2014 hits as one of the worst performances ever, but at the end of the day, she's getting paid, and she's doing something that she wants to do.
And regardless, good, bad, or indifferent, she will have to live with the consequences of whatever that is. Good, bad, or indifferent. And that's what
you would think that she came out there butt naked or something. Like, she just was dancing. Like, if it would have been, and honestly, if it would have been anybody else, it would have, it would have not been so, controversial how it was. Like,
and that's what,
I think she could dance. I think the dancing really messed her up. Like, she can't dance, not at all, at all. If she could probably dance, it probably would not even been that bad. that was the problem.
So thank you. You're like, that was the problem. All right, sweetheart. I thank you so much for being a part of the show, and I will do anything I can to support you. I am so proud of you.
Thank you. You too.
So take care, and I will be with you and Dick Gregory in spirit.
Yes. Thank you
care,
again.
Sweetheart. All right.
Bye-bye.
thank you for listening, and join us every Sunday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern for more Real Talk for Real Teens.